45 37. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yes, it is I, and I'm so glad to be back in the place. I'm so glad that my face is being shown, and I had to come talk to y'all and show y'all some love. So y'all know I did do the topic of yes, I was a high school dropout. And I did it because, but let me go back to my title and why I did it because y'all know I went to my class reunion and I had never been to a class reunion, because I didn't go to class. But I had never been to my own class reunion. So this was my first year and it had been 25 years in the same high school I went to. My children actually graduated from that high school. So it was a kind of special moment. It was my first time going, then it was my daughter's first time going. So you know how we be young and I be you be cute or have your little body, but some people get out of shape or some people go through different stuff or whatever. So I was getting dressed Saturday to go to the picnic, and I remember it specifically because I didn't want to wear the little shorts. But then I was like, well, don't worry about it. Forget it. Just show out. Just show your butt. Just do what you do. People already be stereotyping you, and that was another reason I showed my butt on that picture for my birthday, because I wanted the stereotype. So when I went live, I could break it down for you because everything ain't what it seems to be. And sometimes we make perceptions and stuff out for people. And I know that sometimes when people look at me, they are mad, like, oh, she got good, or oh, she's so pretty, or oh, she survived this, or whatever. But you really don't be knowing them just be people speculations. So, when I was a child, I have told y'all that I was a troubled child. But I also told y'all I did what I wanted to do. And that was not because of my grandma or my upbringing. To the parents. When your children get out of hand and you be like, I ain't raised you like this, or you be disappointed, or you be hurt, and stuff like that, it do come a point when we make our own decisions. So back to the high school thing, right? So I used to go to school and I was tired of going to school every day, getting dressed, leaving out the house. And then at this point, I was gambling. I was just going to school to meet my other homegirls and stuff so we could leave school. I was smoking weed and I was just doing my own little thing. Come home when I got ready and all that. So y'all know the law is you could be 16 and drop out of school. And I was 15. I couldn't wait to my 16th birthday. And I'm just telling the truth. And but it's another part to that. You feel me? Because, like I said, I was 16 in the 10th grade. And so I dropped out of school. I was the one that ended up going to jail. I was the one that ended up in the street life. I was the one that ended up in drug addiction. I was the one, you feel me? So that was my stereotype, my MO. That was my image. That was what I had created. But a lot of people don't know that when I dropped out of school, I was never a fool. You feel me? I was a little fool, but I wasn't no D fool, And see, I told y'all my grandma didn't really play that for real. You know what I'm saying? So I played crazy, but when I dropped out, I went and got my GED before my grandma found out I had dropped out of school. Because I couldn't live in her house like that. I couldn't live up under her roof like that. So even though I was being grown and being dumb, I was a smart dummy. You feel me? So here we go, 16. That's why I got my pen and paper for myself. So when I rated 16, dropped out of school, 10th grade. So that 10th grade, we still got 11th grade, 12th grade. So that would have made me 18. Graduating high school, correct? Look. Alright. Now, 16, like I said, I went and got my GED. While I was getting my GED, they were still going to class. You feel me? And so since I had my GED, I was able to go on and enroll in college. You understand? So I was in college with my GED, working, got pregnant doing my own little thing. 17, I was in nursing school. You feel me? And with my certificate from my nursing solution, an 18-week program, and then I went to Lawson State College and took my test and from the board and got my license and passed. 17. Now, 18, you know. So now I'm in a little school thing. I don't know nothing about school, and they give you the little credit cards for school and stuff like that. So I had a little credit card. But like I said, I was just working at a little fast food restaurant, pregnant with my first child, and I wasn't really spending on credit cards, so my credit was kind of all right. I wasn't even into credit stuff. So then, when I got 18 and I had my baby, all this I had to tell y'all about my love story from moving to the house to a trailer where I was literally putting wood in the fire and roaches and rats and everything. But I was in love then. But that ain't the school story. All right, now, so 18 now, so now I'm in this this house, and I'm making up this bed. And when I get to my side of the bed, my whole feet go through the floor. So when I put my feet back up, I see dirt on my feet. And that was the final straw. We got to get up out this trailer. So I end up having a little credit from my little credit cards. And I hadn't put much on my credit or nothing like that. So I was able to get approved for a house at 19 years old. And when I got approved for the house, they sent me a list of the houses to go look out and pick out. And I took my grandma with me because I wanted her to pray over the house that I picked out. So we went to house hunting, you feel me? And I went to one house and I picked it and I liked it and I lived in it until I went to prison because that was going to be my home house for my children. But I ended up going to prison with my husband as a co-defendant on that case. Same person shot me in the face, same person I went to jail with. That's another story. We coming back with all these story times and storylines. But I had to just come put my face in the place because I hadn't talked to y'all and haven't seen y'all at the class reunion. I wanted to talk to y'all about that. My birthday, I wanted to talk to y'all about that. And then now I'm coming back and I got me a storyline and it's I was on the phone yesterday and that's when it came to me. So y'all gonna know. I'm still waiting on the police to tell me my husband dead. And me and my friend was talking on the phone yesterday, and she was like, "What, sis?" She was like, "You never got a call?" I said, "No. The authorities, the police, or nobody called me. I was notified, on my phone and Facebook from the people. Everybody would call and had seen it. And when I picked my phone up, that's how I saw that what happened. But nobody notified me. Nobody really talked to me. Nobody told me what was going on. Nobody did nothing. So 3 years later, I'm waiting on the phone call. So anyway, so we was talking about all this stuff yesterday or whatever. So then y'all know it's Tuesday. So I always say thankful Tuesday, testimonial Tuesday, and for Thursday, testimonial Thursday. And so I still want to come and share with y'all because I decided to tell that story about my me dropping out of school and still being able to do what I needed to do for self. But I'm very grateful for everything that I have been through. And my road was paved different because I'm built different. And it was set up different for me. For me. Might not be for the next person, might not be for you, but it was set up like that for me. I wonder why I went through so much at a young age, or why my load had to be so heavier than hers, Or why I'm the one that got punished, but I'm the one that know better too. So 9 times out of 10, you'll be the one that get punished the most because you know better. And that's why my grandma called me the dummy. You feel me? And I also told y'all another story about when I was high in my addiction. And I had came in there on Thanksgiving, baby, and I had nodded off. And my grandma was fixing my plate. And when I opened my eyes, she was standing right in my face. And I told y'all my grandma didn't yell, my grandma didn't cuss, my grandma didn't do none of those things. And when I opened my eyes, my grandma looked dead in my eyes and said, you could save a lot of souls if you just stop letting the devil make a fool out of you. Well, that's not what I wanted to hear when I opened my eyes. You done blow my high, lady. You feel me? Huh? And that used to hurt me to my soul because I knew what she was talking about. You feel me? So now, like I said, from my past and what I went through from the group homes to the boot camps, because I did that. I didn't want to be at home. I rebelled. You feel me? I went to the group homes. I went to the boot camp. Hell, I went to one group home I wanted to stay. Baby, I asked my auntie to pay for me to stay down there, baby. I was having a ball. Shoot, then it was in the country too. Then I was like a city girl. I got best dressed at the school and everything. And that's when I was 14. And I also told y'all in the beginning that I had been blessed with the gift of tongues, even with the gift of visions. But I told y'all I was always scared of the visions and I would never speak on them because I didn't know what was going on and I was so young. But the gift of tongues, you know what I'm saying? I remember that and I know that, but I didn't get that at home. I didn't get that in the church I grew up with. I didn't get that at home. I got the gift of tongues and got saved and stuff at a group home, supposed to be for disciplinary. You feel me? And we went to church 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And I remember that's when I first started playing the tambourine and jumping around in the church and really enjoying church. And I was on fire for God, but I allowed myself to go back and do what I wanted to do once again. And we can't keep talking about the devil did this or the devil did that. No, the devil ain't did everything. And the devil ain't got all the authority and the power. So we have to take accountability for some of this stuff that we done did or some of this stuff we did not do. And we know we should have been doing differently. You feel me? And I tell anybody, if y'all in y'all word or y'all get saved and y'all get on fire for God, please never lose it. You know what I'm saying? And there was a point during this journey where I lost myself again, where I lost my thrive or my get up and go. Or I ain't never lost my faith. I ain't never lost my faith. But I lost myself. I was on the verge of losing my mind. I was in depression. I had stopped eating every day, stopped bathing every day, stopped cleaning up. And then I got to the point where I told y'all, after my son left, then I started getting angry. And I asked God, and I remember, and I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna say it out loud because I asked God, why did you even let me wake up? Why did you even bring me back? I know you ain't brought me back for this. You could have left me dead. Look, on everything. Because I know this ain't what it's supposed to be. I lost my grandma. I lost my husband. I lost my son. I lost my daughter. I lost my life. Why am I still here? But I couldn't go nowhere again. I had to keep fighting. I had to keep praying. I had to keep pushing. I had to keep trusting. Trusting on something that you can't see. Trusting on something that you don't know how it's going to work out. You don't know how it's going to play out. Them folks told me I was dead. I couldn't smell. My eye was gone. My mouth was, I ain't never been in no situation like that. I'm helpless. I can't do nothing in this situation. Powerless. Everything happened out of my control. So I had to just trust God to fix it. I had to trust God to pull it back together. I had to trust God to carry me. I had to trust God to bring me back. And trust in something that you can't see or don't know how it's going to play out. But everything else around you is playing out in front of you. Make me understand this. And I start getting real direct now. Because you brought me back here. You said you was a guy that cannot lie. You said you was going to hear me. You said, shoot. But I didn't start getting upset. I had no more tears to cry. I ain't got now another meal to miss. Walk around here and fell off like I weigh 100 pounds. Baby, stress will take you, lose weight, worry, can't sleep. Think about this, think about that. Think about what's on the next person's mind, how they feel, why you did this, why he did this. Well, if I could have did this, well, if I would have said this, and if she would, I can't do that no more. I can't do that no more. Because everybody got their own mind. And me trying to keep up and please y'all is killing me. It's taking everything I got to try to make sure everybody else is okay while I'm falling apart. Make sure, what I gotta make sure he don't miss nothing or he don't go into, but you losing yourself. You done lost yourself. When you gonna get your mojo back? How you gonna build yourself up? You done gave everybody else everything you done had. You at the point now you ain't even got nothing for yourself. You crying out, hollering, all on your knees and everything. Ain't nothing moving around here. That's why I made that video that time. I said, Lord, I know you say you're on time, God, but I'm trying to find out what time zone you on. You know, Central, you know, Australia time. I don't know, because it ain't my time. I know it ain't my time, but, you know, can you speed it up a little bit? You know, just a little bit if you feeling good today. Because it was like a movie. So I just can't never just get on and talk about one thing, because there's so many things that God has kept me during, that God has carried me through. Even when I couldn't carry myself, he carried me. Even when I thought I couldn't make it no more or go no further, I made it. And so when I look back now, which I'm just coming about my shell. Look, I'm just not starting back to open my mouth. I'm just not starting back to push the button. I'm just not coming back, because when I first got shot, I was still going. I was still going. And I think I was numb. You know, I didn't take the time out to deal with my real feelings and emotions. I didn't take the time out to heal. I didn't take the time out to see what I actually felt, what I actually thought, because I was trying to make somebody else happy. I was trying to watch over my son. I was trying to think of his best interest. I was trying to think of my daughters, how they felt. But it was never how Ebony felt. And Ebony was the one that went through it. Ebony is the one that wears the scar. Ebony is the one that carries it. But it's about everybody else feeling. Except Ebony had to realize that it wasn't nobody, once again, but her and God. Just like from the beginning, her and God. And so Ebony had had to cut some lines. Ebony had to put some boundaries up. Ebony had to find out who Ebony was again. Ebony had to find out what Ebony even like, what Ebony want to do. Where do Ebony go from here? What is my life now? You know? So I had to figure out a lot of stuff. And I had to shut down. I had to cut everything off. It wasn't that personal, but it was personal, if you understand my drill. It wasn't nothing personal, but it was definitely personal. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I ain't never in my life felt like that. I ain't never been through no mess like that. I ain't never got that low in my life. And I just flowed on through everything. Then I told y'all it took me 2 years to even realize that I had been affected. And that was when the panic attacks and anxiety and all that started coming up. And I sat in that truck one day and I said, Lord, my life really has changed. Like that, it really did affect me. Because I always tried to act like it never happened. I just told my sister yesterday, I didn't ask no questions. I didn't ask the doctor no questions. What they did, what is it, what is it, I never asked no questions because I didn't want to know. I never really talked about it because I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted that, just act like that night never happened. But it did. And it affected everybody around you. And the longer you not talk about something or brush it under the table, it be the worse it get. And it gets harder to talk about it as things go on. And then you be let anger set in, you be let resentment set in, you be let I don't give a come back in. You know what I'm saying? And all these different feelings. That's why I tell y'all to please talk about things as they arise. Please try to deal with your hurt and your pain. Don't let that build up on to y'all, because you know what I learned? Because I don't listen to them doctor terms and stuff, especially after this. And I found out Dr. Jesus was the real doctor. Oh, baby, can't nobody in no white suit tell me nothing. Okay? So I go to the doctor about, these panic attacks, anxiety and all that, because I'm scared now. I'm scared that I ain't never had this, and it's squeezing my chest. This is a new kind of fear. So I went to the doctors and all this or whatever. And y'all know they tell you it's from letting things build up on you. It's not releasing, and it'll all bottle up in there. And if it don't come out verbally, it'll come out some other kind of way. So I learned personally, a panic attack and a anxiety attack is when you can't breathe hardly, right? And you be like this. Hey, and it got to spinning and all other different effects happen. But when I started in my spiritual battle, I learned that my heart was getting too heavy and it was too much weighing down on me personally. So when I start releasing some of them things personally, that anxiety and that panic attack label changed for me. If you understand that. Because I never accepted no labels, no titles, no nothing that the doctors had said. I never claimed or professed any of that stuff. When I came home with my whole biggest Methuselah and I had made it together with them wires and everything in my mouth with 3 doctor's appointments, 3 surgeries, plan for me to go back to the hospital in 2 weeks. I sat there in that mirror and said, God gonna heal me. God gonna heal me. Ain't nobody gonna touch my face no more. Ain't nobody gonna touch my face no more. And that's what I meant. And I went up there and got some of that holy oil from my grandma. And it started shrinking up. And I started putting that oil on there. And then nobody touched me. But like I told y'all, I come to realize in them 2 weeks that I came home to wait for my face and my swelling to go down for them to perform other surgeries. I think that was my, when my husband killed himself, that was my test. That was my test to see was I gonna go left or right. And I believe I passed because I think if I had not passed, my outcome probably wouldn't have been so great. So when I told y'all that God was in control from the time the bullet left the chambers, and when them doctors, that means he's still in control now. And when I sit here today, that means he's still in control today. So as of then, as of now, as of whatever, then nobody else touch my face. God did it. And I told the whole world that from the very beginning. I went live changing my goals every morning from the very beginning. These people watched me. These people went to the doctor with me. These people heard doctors being amazed and shocked. Them people saw doctors start pulling out their own phone, recording me and making, because they couldn't believe it they self. So God made living witnesses out of people around the whole world so he could show them that he's still in the blessing business in the new millennium. I was just a vessel, and that's why I think back to everything that I've been through and everything I've endured. He already knew, and he tried to build me up and prepare me for this battle. I just didn't know how my lick was gonna come, or what, you know, your major sacrifice or something happened that makes you change. Because you look at pastors, preachers, the people, something happened that made them run to God. Something happened that made you change your life. Something happened that made you want to do better. And when God saved my life, I committed myself to doing better. I had to do better. I could no longer be the same person. You feel me? Because he had blessed me in a whole different way. He has shown me who he was. Not who my grandma had taught me about. Or not what the book and stuff say he is. He showed me in my life who he was. You feel me? So when they ask me who I am or what I'm a believer. I'm a believer in God because I know what he can do. I'm a believer that he's a healer. I'm a believer that he's a comforter. I'm a believer that he will make all things new. I'm a believer that he will keep my mind. I'm a believer that he will set me free. I'm a believer that all things gonna come together. I'm a believer. I'm a believer, a true believer. Oh, I'm a witness. And I was just a vessel. Just use me to translate some messages and some little words to y'all so we all can do better. And if we do go back to the dropout story or whatever story, because we all made bad decisions or quit something, but still you can turn it around and do something positive or productive in that time span. That don't mean that you're gonna be a failure. Then I went back to college 20 years later after I had got out of prison, after my addiction, after everything. 20 years later, and went back to college. You wanna know why? Because when I got out of prison, I could not work slide phone. I could not answer the slide phone. Every time I gonna call somebody, I gotta call my children and another answer the phone. Do this, show me this. And you know, children get tired of you for a minute. And then I can't hang out around everything. So I went back to school for business office management, made the dean's list and everything. You feel me? Because I couldn't go back, because I couldn't answer the phone. So my reasoning was, bizarre or crazy. But it's nothing that you can't do. You feel me? So I just want y'all to know that on this great, wonderful Tuesday, I ain't let that nobody come in. I ain't did nothing. I apologize. Let me see y'all right here on YouTube. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Who is it? Kiki Sparks. Hey, man. Good. Hey, baby. Pan Ramson. I don't know. I just said it like this. Hey, TikTok. And hey, YouTube. I love y'all. I love y'all. And I love y'all. Y'all know I always end with take the Lord with you. And the rest will follow. Take the Lord with you. I ain't trying to be funny. He already know where you going. That man know where you going. He know where you going. Okay. Take him with you. Go take him with you. And the rest will follow. Put on your full armor though. Okay? Because we are definitely under attack. And we don't fight against flesh and blood. We fight against spirits and principalities. So we can't see spirits and principalities. So we already at a downside because we don't know where the lick gonna come from. We don't know who that spirit gonna jump in. We don't know who's gonna be used. You feel me? So keep your armor on at all times. And that's what I tell y'all. And that's what I stand on. And I love y'all. I love y'all. And I love